back. I'm Kim Bailey. She's Fulyana Osborne, and this is Inside Exec. Today we're going to look at a kind of a case study, so we might put it in the category of case study. We're looking at what to do when you lose a vital member of your team. Fulyana's going to set the scene for us.
I had a mentee who is in a leadership position, and she just lost. When I say lost, a key member of her staff who is extremely popular decided to leave. Now, I'm going to take you through her story. I got her permission to share the story without names, to share the story about what happened, how it felt, how it was handled. Before I do that, I want to explain that this person was extremely effective, excellent at what they do. They are very popular, as I said, and they refer to them as the glue and the culture carrier. Glue is the person that brings everyone together and make things fit. Culture carrier is the person that's deeply involved in the culture of the organisation, live it and breathe it, and influences others to do so. What this leader said to me is, I was devastated when the person came in and said, look, as you know, I love it here. I love everything about this organisation. I did very well out of it myself, but now the time has come, I've got an opportunity somewhere else, I'm going. I don't want to go into why she left because it's a different topic, but it was all positive and it wasn't about anything negative about where she is. Anyway, this leader said to me, I was devastated, and as you remember, Fulyana, I rang you and said, can we have an urgent meeting? And we did. On her way to the meeting, she said to me, I can't believe how selfish I was. The first thing that I said was, I am devastated. I didn't even say, oh, I'm so happy, she's so good, and now she's got this opportunity. She said, thank God though, I said that to her. I said to her both. I said, oh, I can't imagine this place without you is my immediate reaction, but I'm happy for you. I said, I'm so glad I did that. The reason she came for the urgent meeting, she needed to process her, I am devastated. And to do that, she just wanted to talk it out and to talk how she thinks she can handle the rest of it, which we did at that meeting, and she had thought it through and it was all good. So I'm now going to tell you what she actually did. The first thing she did was talk to the person leaving and say, how do you want to handle the announcement? It is your news, but I like to play a part with it. And the person said, yes, I really think that we should do it together. And that was a good answer by both. It could have gone either ways. And then they called that. And of course, the first thing she said, I've got some news that is going to maybe upset a lot of you, but please hang in there. I allocated the time for our whole group to work this through. So she went through, and in a nutshell, she let them process, we're devastated, we can't possibly lose her. What have you done about keeping her? And all those 3 million questions that the leader was prepared for herself, she prepared herself for, and she allowed the other person to speak. So between them, they talked about everything we're saying is about us, our team, and our organisation. We're now going to stop and talk about the person leaving, why they're leaving, and what's their future. In doing that, the focus became about the person, and then this leader took them through celebrating all the contribution this person did. And then she said, I'm sure there's hundreds of you that were in 100 things. So then everybody just threw in, oh, I really appreciated when you did that, and that was great, and all the rest of it. So went through all of that. So there was a celebration, congratulations to the person leaving, and stop feeling sorry for ourselves. And then one person in the group says, well, that's all very lovely, and I agree with that, but what's going to happen after she goes? Which is on everybody's mind, and they they got to a point where they can. The leader said to me, if she had not prepared herself and had the meeting to speak safely about how she was feeling, she might have got undone at that point, because then we default back into poor me.
Yeah.
Instead, she said, I was absolutely prepared then to talk about that. And how we talked about that, I opened it to the team. Of course, we're going to go through the normal recruitment process and replace her, which is going to be very hard, but we will do that. In the meantime, who wants to pick up a baton for what? And everyone then said, well, when it comes to being on such and such committee and all those extra things that this person did to be the culture carrier and the glue, people start doing that. To which point the person who's leaving then said, can I interrupt you just now? You're all looking at how you're going to do it when I'm gone. I think you all forgot that it wasn't me who was doing it. It was all you. It was all of us. And see, the fact that you just already talked about that. So that was really powerful. It was powerful in that saying, yes, you might look at me as maybe that person, but it wasn't just me. If we go to all the examples you thanked me for, this is what happened.
Yeah, because the glue needs to services to bond.
Yes.
So that this person can well be the glue, but it's got to have other stuff stuck to it. Otherwise, the glue just sits there as a blob. So it is all of them. What I'm interested in the process is the exit interview. Obviously, there's an opportunity for an exit interview to be done.
Yeah.
And in this instance, is there value in sharing what comes out of the exit interview with the team?
Yes and no. I always think, if you're going to share, okay, of course you've got to get the person's permission, but you also got to be able to say all of it, not selectively pick. This method worked in this case. I'm not suggesting this will work in every case, because it probably won't. Depends on the team, the size, the nature, etc.
It's the safety aspect. I think they were very fortunate to be, fortunate's not the right word, but it'll do for now.
Yeah.
That it was imperative that it be a safe environment for them to have that whole exercise and to feel that they could do it. So then that reflects back on the leadership of the group, that they know that it's a safe environment. We've talked about fostering safe environments and being leaders to be able to, and how to do that.
Yeah.
And I think that's an excellent example of the value of having a safe environment and everyone knowing that it's a safe environment to have those sorts of conversations.
I've seen very well designed exit interviews and genuine commitment on the organisation to do it. It's very individual, because some people who are leaving can use it to advantage, or misadventure or whatever, or to be genuine. So again, and each case on its merit. There is another spin-off to this exercise that happened, and to me it's such a fantastic story, and probably we won't, I hope we get more of it, but it doesn't happen very often. This leader sits on the executive team, and this person who's left is popular not just in her own team but across the organisation, as often is the case with people like that, and known to everyone. She's the go-to person when something good happen or not good happen. She will have something good to add. When the leader took it to the executive, so I'll just let you know, because obviously also is involved in many blah blah blah. They went through the same emotions, devastation, blah, blah, blah. And so when she talked about what happened and how the team and how it went out, they said, oh, that's really good. The CEO said, I really would like you to present this at the town hall meeting with the permission of the person and the team, how we value people coming in and leaving, how we respect them, how we celebrate them, and how we celebrate the extended team. And now I wanted to make the organisation is that this is how we like things to be around here.
And I think out of all of it, the points that we need to emphasise are that there's always going to be change. Yes. You can't expect to be in a team environment and have nothing change, because that sends out a different message altogether about what you're doing, and that's not a good message if there's not dynamic happening and not a little bit of change happening. I was always of the opinion that people were going to leave, and I didn't worry about that. I just thought, well, it's going to happen. What my responsibility is, while I've got this team together, is to give them as much resourcing and as much development as I possibly can, so that they are attractive to other organisations, because in the long run that reflects back on me, and so that's a good thing for everybody. And that when they go, I celebrate the fact that they go, because they know that if the opportunity arises again, they'd come back and work with me, because it's good to work with me. So that's important in terms of leadership. But always our first reaction to change is going to be what's going to happen to me.
Yeah.
What about me?
Yeah.
I'm the most important person in this equation. And if we know that that's the case, and we start to prepare ourselves for acknowledging that that's the case, but that the other person has also gone through a whole lot of emotion before they've come to tell you, because they've had to go through, how am I going to say it, and they're already second guessing what your reaction is going to be. So you need to acknowledge that all of that's already happened, and don't surprise them with a different reaction than what they've expected. And then move through the process of, it's grief, it's a grief process. It's anger, denial, acceptance. That they're not set phases and they don't overlap. They can mix and match and come and go at any time, and last a long time or last a little time. So being aware of all of those things and thinking about those situations, and not leaving it till the situation is there in front of you. So don't be the person who has to ring Fulyana and say, we need an urgent meeting because I don't know what to say next.
You can,
you can, and I understand that's a good resourcing if you haven't thought about it beforehand, which is why we thought it was important to bring it to you today in a podcast, is that we want to encourage you to think about that situation, and even if it's only for the time that you've listened to this podcast, that you think about what your reaction would be. How could you control that better? How would you move beyond the immediate reaction, and just think about how that would work for you and your qualities and your skills. And maybe there are things that you need to develop. Maybe there's a measured response activity that you need to go through. Maybe you need to do some role plays, or think about some case studies, or think about other ways that you could react in those situations, and think about the process in terms of your team and what would work for your team in carrying through the whole of the exercise and that whole of that communication that's happening, because regardless of how careful everyone is, word will get out. And often it will come from outside the organisation rather than inside the organisation. You need to be aware of all of those things, and you need to be measured in your responses to all of those things. She's waving her hands, she's got nothing more to say, so on that point we'd better finish really quickly.
I'm not that bossy.
No, bossy is not the word that came to mind. I'm sure you'll all agree with me. And I'm going to finish now before I get into more trouble. I'm Kim Bailey, she's Fulyana Osborne, and this is Inside Exec.